Hey there, what's up? Katy Parry here. Thanks for being here today. We're going to be doing a Metafy session with one of my students. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get that pulled up and get that started. It is very early for me. Usually I don't do sessions this early just because people don't really schedule it. But I want to be up and be active and be stunning in the morning anyway. So this is good for me. Um, but without further ado, let me go ahead and call my student real fast. Give me 1 second. Hello? Hey, how's it going, Dave? I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing good. It's a like I said before, it's totally within my availability. I've been wanting to get up early to begin with, the morning that is. But it is new for me, so I am still kind of, you know, turning my face towards the sunshine, getting the day started. So, but I'm ready for you. So, I wanted to make sure that for our first session that I sort of give you a rundown of like how things work. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go over the goals that you've presented for the session, and then I want to make sure that we address all of the goals. So that way, before you leave today, you feel that your goals have been met. Okay? Okay. All right. So, before we begin, I do want to say, I'm very glad to have the opportunity to coach you. I do believe that, I have a lot of Zelda knowledge and expertise when it comes to identifying other players' areas for opportunity or improvement. And just, I just I love going over this stuff. I'm obsessed with Zelda, a little obsessive, a little aggressive. Um, so I really thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, I'm happy to help. Yeah. Hey, Widato, thanks for coming by, hon. So yeah, so coaching is something that I think a lot of players, when you decide to start, going into coaching, it can be a little nerve wracking because like you don't really know what to expect. But at the same time, I know I felt that way when I started getting coaching. But I felt like that was like really something I needed because with, Super Smash Brothers, if we were to compare it to a game like Soul Calibur, for example, which is one of my favorite fighting games. Soul Calibur is a fighting game where you really don't have, it's very casual focused, in my opinion. There's a lot of depth for the competitive community, but for the most part, it's so casual focused that it's to me it's very easy with the balancing to keep up. You learn a couple combos. You learn, the difference between like rock paper scissors, blocking, grabbing, striking, and you're pretty good for the most part. But in Smash, because we have the ability to move wherever we want, it can be very, very difficult to really understand what you're doing wrong, um, because it's a platformer. And frankly, Smash Brothers, from what I have learned, Smash Brothers is frankly a game where you really don't have the luxury of knowing exactly what's wrong unless someone pulls you aside and tells you. And in right. And so in a competitive community, it's really, really hard to get that going. I'm sure, you and your experience, I mean, it can be a little frustrating sometimes trying to figure out like what you're doing wrong. That down even. Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't have, I don't have autistic traits myself, and I don't want to draw like a false comparison. but I know from my specific point of view, I am neurodivergent as well. I have like I'm pretty far on the spectrum when it comes to ADHD. So I definitely relate to neuro divergent issues and tendencies that can arise. Um, However, I know several players, in fact, some players that are the best in their state at this game, are on the spectrum of autism. So let that inspire you, and let you know that anyone can reach the goals that they set. um, you know, with this game, and with neurodivergent issues, um, I can't speak for you right now, but I know one of the biggest issues I had when I first started out was like feeling embarrassed, and also having issues with emotional regulation. What was a big one for me, and I think that while I was in the middle of a game, and it can still happen time to time. Um, but while I was in the middle of the game, the biggest issue for me was like I would like have a good lead, like I would be winning, and then like they would clear it up, and I would be so blindsided by what happened, that it would immediately send me into like a sort of like a mental rage, if you will, and at that point, like I couldn't focus on what was going on, so I would be making mistake after mistake after mistake, and it was very very hard for me to deal with. So you said that you have some issues with that as well. Is that what I heard?
So yeah, so like I don't necessarily compete really hard on myself. I
Okay.
make and momentum,
So
and then
mentality.
I just recapture my grounding
Sure.
equilibrium.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, this game is like, I mean, a lot of people will tell you that any competitive game is like 80% mental, right?
Yeah.
And 20% physical, and that is no different in Smash Brothers. So uh, finding opportunities to reset ourselves, recognize the emotion that we're feeling, the frustration, the embarrassment, the lack of understanding, and I think that you know one of the many mistakes, and I'm speaking generally, so this might not apply to you, but um, a lot of people that enter these competitions, they usually come from a background where they're generally like the best player in their town or in their friend circle, and that's sort of what's led them to kind of want to see what competitive has to offer, because they think that they're pretty good, and so they have like a I wouldn't say like a super inflated sense of self, or ego, but they haven't had an opportunity to really compete yet. And so you go into it with these high expectations, and especially people with neuro diverse tendencies, they typically, people that are neurodiverse, we set the bar extremely high for ourselves. um,
Yes.
we sort of have these unrealistic expectations, and frankly, with the ability that we can have at times, we see the potential that we have. So we feel it's internalized that like, oh, why am I failing? Like I want to be the best Zelda player in the world. I know that I could do this, but I've got this issue and this issue, and it's so frustrating, and
Yeah.
and that can be toxic to the mental. And so you can sit and play friendlies, or go to a tournament for a year, um, forever, like basically. And if you don't fix that mental side of it, um, you're you're not going to improve. Like you might improve, like when it comes to like muscle memory, you might improve, confirms and stuff like that, but you're not going to improve where it counts the most, which is like where you win the first game, and then you lose the second game, and now you got to shift your focus. You know, if you're caught up in your emotions, and you're caught up in the expectations that you set for yourself, it's almost impossible to know what to do, because your mind hasn't actually been on the game. It's been on how the game has made you feel. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you want to speak to that?
I found that
Yes.
you know it's hard to.
Yes, it is true. But I'm sure you're familiar with this. Just from seeing how when you were in the stream the other day, and just sort of like your from what I'm gathering from your personality so far, is especially with knowing that tip that I would have normally provided, that we need to focus on less on the results and more on just doing the best that we can. um Usually when you're in a competitive scene, um it could be really hard when you're seeing like these people around you, and it seems like they're not trying as hard as you are, or they're not like they don't face the same struggles that you do. It can be hard to keep yourself in a position where you're like, okay, my I'm just going to do the very best that I can. But if you don't feel like you did the very best that you could, it's it's sort of like a trick. So what I like to say, Dave, what I like to do is I like to add a little bit more padding to it. So what I've recently started to do, honestly, in the past year, and this is where I started to notice my results really start to get a lot better, um, was I started to tell myself, when I go to this local, I could win, I could lose, but I'm just gonna do the very best that I can. Basically telling myself I'm gonna do what I can. And afterwards, when I first started doing that, if I would lose early, or if, like, I think there was a local I went 1 and 2 at, I would just think, like, well, gosh, well, clearly I didn't do the best that I could. But I was thinking the wrong way, because I did do the best that I could, because it's relative to the moment, right? And I think that when we say I'm going to do the best that I can, we think I'm going to do the best that I know I could do. And that's the error in thinking. We need to think I'm going to do the best that I can, as in this moment, at this present time, in this particular day, like at this particular turn. Yes. Right. Because exactly, precisely. So if for some reason, you didn't get enough sleep, a lot of people will look at that as like, oh, well, it's a John. Well, yeah, it's a John if you're like going around telling everybody, well, I didn't get enough sleep. That's sort of like an ego thing. And it's hard to not to want to explain that to people. But, you know, the biggest opportunity for you to work on this is just the vernacular, and how you interpret the vernacular. So that is something that, I would personally, if I were you, I would write down, or I would type out. It's just that, saying I'm going to do the best that I can is relative to the time that you're in, to the day that you're in. It's not about, this is the best, like, I'm gonna do the best that I know I can do, because we don't know what's gonna. You don't know if, like, round 2 you're gonna run into a character that you haven't played against. There's 89 characters in this game. You know, um, I think something you might have heard before is something called risk versus reward, and we'll get a lot into that when it comes to like analyzing your gameplay. But I actually said this in a tweet yesterday. I was talking to Sonics, and this is not something that we really use outside of the game, and we really should. Is frankly, asking ourselves, okay, risk versus reward when it comes to mentality. What risk do we run when we go to a tournament thinking, yeah, I'm the best, I'm gonna win, I know I can do this, there's nothing that's gonna stop me? Like, it's sort of, I don't want to call it toxic positivity, because it's like, I totally have done that. I see the benefit of trying to lift yourself up, but then you start to have those expectations, right? So I think that
Yeah,
that's where we should start first. How do you feel about that?
I think that sounds good. I definitely recognize.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I'm glad that you said that. That's something that a lot of people not, aren't even familiar with. And I can tell that you've obviously, like, I figured you've done some research already. People who are, neurodiverse definitely, look into their issues, or look into ways to remedy them. or deal with them. So having a mantra for yourself is a really good thing for you to do, and changing the definition. So that's where I'll end on that for now. Is just when you go to the local, when you practice online, you just have to say, I'm going to do the best that I can, and we don't want it to be, I'm going to do the best that I know I can do, because if you're playing online, like, girl, like, you have a lot less time to react. Like, you're going to run into characters that are just going to maul you. You're going to run into people that like you said, like you play a couple of games, you're in Elite Smash for a little bit, and then you play a couple of games and then you're thrown out. So I think the expectation is like, oh, to stay in Elite Smash, and eventually you can get there. But I'm sure wanting something like that and not getting it can also affect it. So doing the best that you can do. If you get knocked out of Elite Smash, like I think I was playing like a couple weeks ago, and I was playing Bayonetta, and I was having fun, but I ended up losing. I got knocked out of Elite Smash. I mean, it's whatever, like Elite Smash is not the end all be all, and it's also, as you'll learn, it's a very poor indication of what actual competitive really is, because anything competitive is a lot more focused on like the neutral game, and that's what we're here to really talk about today. So yeah, so I've definitely written down that we want to work on mentality, and we'll kind of pepper that in as the sessions go on.
Reality, I feel
Mhm.
like I have more I could, if I what to what the
Yes,
to
autopilot.
instinctive react,
Yes.
where I feel like I am.
Well, so I will tell you this. So, I'll just be the first to say it. It's good to have foreknowledge. It's good to have knowledge where you're thinking, oh, okay, what should I expect from my opponent? But you technically don't want to get too focused on that, because it's kind of hard to think a couple steps ahead in a game like this, especially when you're playing a character that's defensive. Now, Phantom, if we're gonna start talking specifics with Zelda, the Phantom is a move where you definitely have to think a step ahead, or about a second or two ahead. But really, that's more so all you really want to focus on. When you're playing like the neutral game, what we're going to be doing for ourselves, and what you're going to be writing down, is that we're going to elicit fundamental rules for ourselves. Um, you said in your goals, and I'm just going to go over this real fast. You say, I've been an enthusiast about Smash for a long time. Me too. Totally hear you. I remember playing Smash Brothers, gosh, when I was like 7, 8, 9. Like, and then Melee came out, and I remember playing Zelda for the first time, and I was just like, oh, like I just like had this like epiphany, like from God, or like from some kind of religion. I don't know which one, but something touched me, and I knew that I loved this. I loved Smash Brothers. You go on to say, however, I've never connected the community, or to the community, so I'm unaware of a lot of the formalized tech and the meta of the game. For example, I discovered tech with Gimmer's Slingshot, and learned about instant double jump from there, and that's it. Yeah. So there's a lot of different techs and stuff in the game, and Zelda is one of the most technical, arguably, if not the most technical character in the game. I'm sure some people would say it was Steve, which I wouldn't argue with them, because there's a lot of different, many different things that Steve can do. But Zelda,
Yeah,
exactly. But conversely, so is Zelda. So Zelda has the ability to really trick her opponents. She is not really a zoning character. Some people would consider her that. She's more of a anti-zoning and trap character. So learning her tech is going to be it'll be important, but I do want to stress that her tech is not necessary. Her tech specifically is not something that you have to have. Filch, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, honey. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. So you go on to say, I think I'm also too instinctive and aggressive in my play style. And I can speak from experience. Usually to me, that's when you feel forced to like make a play. Like you feel like you have an opening or you feel like you have an opportunity. And so you go for it. And it's like it kind of, sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. And it's like, it's hard to distinguish between the two. It's like, why did it work here and it didn't work here? Okay.
Like
yes.
It's
Right, that attracts you to her, sure.
super.
Right, yeah, and I mean, I will speak to that. Depending on the matchup, it can feel like you're wearing cement shoes. If you're fighting against like a character like Sonic or Mithra, it can be very, very hard to feel like you know where your footing is. Then you go on to say, it would be better if I was more consciously aware of the mental game, just to give a baseline for where I think I'm at. Zelda is the only character I've made it into Elite Smash with, and I can see, like myself, like, I don't play any other characters. Like, I play Sephiroth and I play Zelda. Those are the only two characters I've even bothered playing online. Any other characters, like, that say they're in Elite Smash, that's from, like, my friends coming over and, like, playing Elite. Like, that was not me. Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah. And so basically we've got that out of the way, and as you can probably tell, like, I don't want you to worry. Like I said, I know like technically 6 minutes of the session are left, but like we're not concerned about that today because we're going to make sure that we address these concerns first, and I do a lot of preface and a lot of pretext before I get into stuff. So yeah, of course. So the first thing I would like you to do, or jot down to do for later, is if you have any replays from playing online, or against friends, whatever you have, if you could upload those for me, and you can actually go to your replays, replay data, and then just hit post. You don't have to convert it to a video, just post it, and it'll ask you to name the video. Just name it like, you know, MRD, or MR Dave, and then the date without any like slashes or anything. So like 7/18/22, and then just let me know what you named the videos. So that way I can just look them up on my own, and then we can pull them up together. So like the next time we have a session, next week, I can review those with you, because that's sort of like my area of expertise, I would say, is like being able to analyze like a video, and go from there. So that being said, correct, not for right now. So it would be something where, like, as you're playing, after sessions, you can upload a video, and then like you can send me the information, and then like the next time that we get together, I can definitely use that as like a way to point stuff out to you, because it'll make it it's a lot easier to have a second pair of eyes when you're trying to learn something. If someone's like, hey, so you see how you did this, this is why you should do this instead. Much easier to review that way. All Hearthstone, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you saying, hun?
Oh, I was just.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I didn't cut you off for any reason. So, what I want to do now, is I'm going to, let's see here. I want to make sure you're going to be able to see this. Let me stop the Final Fantasy boss music. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Okay. So I just want to make sure that you can see this. Let me pull this up real fast. Okay, so can you see what I'm looking at right now, the YouTube video? Okay, so I like to start with this for new students, just because this is a set where I feel like I played Zelda very, very effectively. And this was against someone who was the number 4 on our power rankings for the state at the time. This was back in March. So what I want to do is I want to point certain things out to you, and we're going to go from here. The other thing I want to do is I want to pull up ultimateframedata.com. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this website, but this.
I've heard people reference it. I'm
not
sure how to read
data. Sure. So yeah,
I've never really typed that in.
Sure. So that's actually something that I'm going to go over with you, right now. So something that's very, very important to determine when it comes to playing this game, but more specifically in neutral, is going to be whether or not you're doing something that's considered committal or something that's non-committal. And what does that mean exactly? So committal is usually, to simplify, doing something committal is something that takes up a lot of time. In a fighting game, of course, we have to break it down. And if we look at it like this, every move that you have is a certain amount of something called total frames, which means that, I'm sure as you can understand, like the animation of the move has a beginning and it has an end. And fighting games usually are 60 frames per second. So what that means is that, for example, let's go ahead and dive in. So jab. So Zelda's jab right here. This is going to show you the hitbox, or, the area of detection where, like, if an opponent is standing and they get hit by the red orbs, if you will, or circles, that is what's going to damage them, and, detect that they've been hit. So if we look over at the data right here,
box, right?
So no, this is a hitbox. So the hurt.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So you're good. So the hurt box is actually, like, if we actually like look at Zelda right here, you see the gray that's going on here. That's actually considered her hurt box. So yeah, so it's it's relative, like you can see, like technically it's not on her fingers and it's like not on her hair. Like Sora, for example, his shoes are not actually a part of his hurt box. His ankles are, but not his shoes. I think it's because they like jut out. Sora's a little weird. Weird kid. But so that your hurt box is like, if your hurt box overlaps with a hit box, you take damage. So that's sort of how that works. Now, right here, we can see total frames. So this says 24 total frames. So if
that's from start to finish.
Correct, from start to finish. This isn't talking about like how long the move is active. This is just like if you were to input a jab, just the first jab, just a jab 1 is what I'll refer to it as. It's just 24 frames from start to finish. Now, if there's 60 frames every second, that means, to me, this move is relatively non-committal because it doesn't last for very long. You're not taking that much of a risk by throwing it out. Now, there is risk applied when it goes into, if you hit someone's shield, which we'll get into. But in terms of just like how long the move takes, it doesn't take up very much time. So, if my opponent is in front of me, I can throw out 2 of these attacks before a second's over, almost 3, technically. So if we go a little further into here, we can see that more committal moves are a little bit longer. So this is Zelda's forward tilt. I'm sure you're familiar with the move. This move is really, really good, but it's very hard to hit with just because like the move is actually only active for 2 frames. So when you swing this attack, you have to be very precise when you hit with it because like it's not going to be something that lasts forever. And that's kind of why Zelda can be a little difficult to newer players and why they tend to use her special moves instead of her actual like normals is what these are called. Like her F tilt, her jab, things that aren't special moves are considered normal moves. So her normals are usually focused on precision for the most part. So because of that, she can be very, very difficult to use effectively. So it's good to know, use this ultimate frame data as a resource, how how long is my move out? Like if I throw out an F tilt, how likely is it that I'm going to hit it? If there are 60 frames in a second and your move's only active for 2 frames out of 60 frames, that means your move is only active for, 1/30th of a second. It's barely there. So, if you miss this move, that's sort of where that mentality kind of comes into play. It's like, let's look at the facts. Oh, you missed your F tilt? Well, there's no reason to really be upset with yourself because this move is very hard to land, you know? So, maybe we find a different move to replace it with and use this in only certain situations. So that's sort of that. But this move is 36 total frames. So that means that this move from start to finish is
active for 2 frames.
Well, so let me go into it a little bit further. So if you see the green here, this says 12 frame startup. So this is where the frame actually the attack begins, and then it says it's active on frames 12 to 13. So the move is 36 total frames. So that means from start to finish that it's 36 total frames. So what we'll do here is we'll start here. So this is frame 1. Like after you input the move, it's going to take a little bit of time before your actual attack begins. There's something called wind up. It's when your character is like rearing back and they're like pulling their fist back like I'm gonna punch you, but they haven't punched you yet. That's called wind up. So this is like frame 1 of the attack, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's actually active on frame 12 of the 36 frames, which means that it takes 12 frames for it to come out. So in terms of like a boxing option, or like an up close option, like if you're up close and trying to fight someone like, hand to hand, it's kind of on the slower side. Usually fast moves are anywhere from like, frame 1 all the way, I would say, to maybe like frame 9. So this move is a little bit more of like a move that you have, like you said, that prior knowledge with, that you would like, you would read someone with. So that being said, now we'll get into this on shield. So if you hit someone and they shield it, this says that it's -13/-10. So what this means is if you see here, you can see on this move that there is a spot, which is the tip, and there is a sour spot, which is right here. So if you hit the sour spot, like if you hit an opponent right and they're standing right here and you hit them with this part of it and it hits their shield, it's -13. So what that means is that you hit their shield, but Zelda still has to finish this animation, right? So it means that she's behind 13 frames. So if somebody is in shield and if Zelda hits their shield with this move, that means that they have 13 frames to do something before Zelda can do something. A lot of Zelda's moves are very unsafe on shield, which means as a trap character, you're not meant to just, as Zelda, throw out moves willy-nilly and be safe. That's Zelda's like weakness. That's where the balancing comes into play. So, however, if you space this move on someone's shield right here, you hit someone's shield right here and you space it, it's -10. But what's nice is there's a huge gap between where the opponent is and where Zelda is. Because if you notice, she's all the way over here when she starts the move. She actually leans in. So she hits from pretty far away. So before you start, if your opponent is like right here, you're this far away, you can slap them with this, and if you get the timing right, if they shield it, it's a strong move, so it pushes them back a little bit. And then if you look, Zelda actually herself will pull away. So right here at the end, you can see that at the start rather, she leans in, but then after she's done leaning in, she starts to pull back a little bit. So what's nice is like if you space that move on somebody's shield correctly, even though it's -10, you're most likely going to be safe because of the space that's between the two of you. So something that's important in neutral is your spacing, right? Like with this hitbox right here, this is kind of a poor example, but it'll still work. Technically, I could hit an opponent that was this close to me, right? Because this hitbox is right here. But most likely, in most cases, I want to try to space with the edge of this move. I want to be as far away from my opponent as possible while also being able to try to like hit them. So you don't want to be like super up close when you're fighting people. You want to be close enough, but not super close. And that's going to depend on the move. I know this might seem like it's a lot to take in, but it will start to make a lot more sense over time. So I'm going to go a little bit.
To make you I feel like I have like a loose concepts, but they're really out of that.
Sure, yeah. So let's go into one of my favorite moves. And this is like a really good example of something that's like technically her most non-committal move is down tilt. So down tilt, I'm sure as you already know, it's a very quick move. You can throw out like multiple down tilts in a row. And the reason for that is because the move is 21 total frames from start to finish, which means if you threw out 3 of them, that would be 63 frames. And if there's 60 frames in a second, that means you basically can put out 3 attacks in a second, right? So like, what's also really nice is because it's 21 frames, for example, you can throw out a down tilt and then run away, right? So that's what we would call like a bait. Like you throw out the down tilt, hoping your opponent will like try to punish you after you threw out the move. But since this move is so fast from start to finish, you can like throw out a down tilt and then dash away. And that's just like one basic example. If you're doing this, it's the F tilt, it's 36 total frames, which means if you throw this out and dash back, it's going to take you longer than if you throw out a down tilt and dashed back. Because the less total frames, the sooner you will be actionable, the sooner you will be able to act and do anything you want. So another option that would be considered committal is dash attack. So dash attack is 35 total frames, only 1 frame less than Zelda's F tilt. 36 total frames for Zelda F tilt, 35 total frames for Zelda dash attack. Zelda dash attack is very fast. It starts up on frame 6. So it's a great move to like, if you're next to somebody and you notice that they missed, you immediately can just dash attack them. But the problem is that like if you're trying to guess and you try to punish somebody with it that's not actually punishable at that moment, it's -18 on shield, which means if somebody shields it, leaves you wide open. Exactly. So a lot of people like it because it's quick and it closes the distance. Zelda gets to like move. It's a great burst option, but unfortunately Zelda doesn't cross up shield. She doesn't get behind her opponent. She's always forced to stay in front of them, which I think is unfair, but regardless, so you definitely don't want to be throwing this out willy-nilly. I really don't like that I keep saying willy-nilly, but I really don't know what else to say because that's something I learned when I was a kid. But anyway,
it's a word I say.
Okay, cool. It just sounds so cheesy to me. So let's go with up tilt. So up tilt is one of your best friends. This move is a top 5 up tilt in the game. Yes. You don't use this move, you said? Yeah, this move is probably the move.
At least with Zelda, I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, so here's why it's so good. So this move is 29 total frames, which means that it's a little slower, or not slower. Well, technically it is, but it lasts a little longer than your down tilt. But let's look at down tilt real fast before I get into up tilt. So it says it's active from frames 5 to 11, which means it's active for 7 frames. The way that you read frame data is, since it says it's active frames 5 to 11, all you do is take 11 minus 5, which is 6, and then add 1, which is 7. Because it's active on frame 5, so you have to add 1. So, like, for example, this says frames 7 to 19. So that means you take 19 minus 7. So that's going to be 12. plus 1, which would be 13, because it's active.
So just my own.
Sure. So basically, it says active on frames 5 to 11. If you're wanting to look at this kind of quickly and be like, okay, how active is that? What you do is, I'll show you here, is like, let me stop this frame by frame. So basically, frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the first frame that it's active, is frame 5, right? Because it said 5 to 11. But if we count it by hand, it's frame 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which is actually 7 frames. Yeah. So because of that, when you look at this, it's like active frames 5 to 11. So you're like, oh, 6 frames. Well, it's actually active for 7, because frame 5, you have to count frame 5 as well. Right.
Got it.
So, yeah. So this move, so the reason I want to go into this is because this move is active for 13 frames. Now remember, I told you that F-tilt is only active for 2, right? This move is active for, and it's 36 total frames. This move is 29 total frames. It's active for 13 frames. It starts on frame 7. F-tilt starts on frame 12. Like, this move is a top 5 up tilt in the game. And the other reason is because it's one of Zelda's few moves that is, I wouldn't say it's disjointed, but it's technically disjointed, because a disjointed move is kind of like a move where the hitbox does not overlap with your hurt box. So technically this, yeah. So like if Marth swings his sword at you, like his sword is going to have a hitbox on it, but like if you hit his sword, he's fine, right? Because like his hurt box isn't overlapping. But with characters like Zelda, we fight hand to hand. So because of that, this is another reason why this move is a little is pretty risky, is because if you look at Zelda's F-tilt, you can see right here, this hurt box is right here, but you can, like, her arm, but the hitbox is there. So that means that, like, there's a risk if somebody like hits you and you hit them, you're gonna trade. Because, and another thing is that Zelda's technically extending her arm out for them to hit, right? So
just that, like,
correct, this part right here, right? So that's the part, like, if you're going to use this move, that's what you want to hit them with. You don't want to hit them with you don't want to hit them like with the part of your arm at all. You want the red hitboxes. So this right here is excellent, because as you can see, it's sort of similar to F-tilt, but like you've got this huge part right here that's technically disjointed, and the hitbox is huge. So the move is going to be active for, you know, like I said, frames 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 8. So 17. So I mean, like, the move is insanely long.
I use up tilt a lot with YouTube.
Yeah, so it's gonna be well, yeah, it's gonna be more comparable to like Mewtwo's, just because it's what's called an anti-air, which I'm sure you're familiar with. It's like when someone is approaching you and they're trying to jump at you, you can use this move to like sort of call out their approach. This move is also very good to catch landings with. So like, let's say you knock someone up in the air, right? You could probably try to jump and hit them, or you could just wait for them to like land. Because most people, like, if you launch them up, if you can get a true hit, they'll usually like air dodge, or they'll try to. So if you just focus on getting underneath them and just throwing out an up tilt, you'll usually cover the spot dodge, because this move is active for so long, like the hitbox is out for so long, that by the time they finish their air dodge, you have a hitbox out to catch them, right? So you can't really use that move, or you can't use these other moves in a similar fashion. So the reason I'm pointing these out is because there are 3 moves, and I think you should write this down. There are 3 moves, in my opinion, that you want to use while you're in neutral, when it comes to normals. Those moves are going to be up tilt, down tilt, and then something I'll get into is scrolling past these a little bit, is neutral air, specifically short hop neutral air. Here's why. So Zelda's neutral air is very fast. It's frame 6. I'm not sure if you know this, but if you're on the ground, every character in the game has except Kazuya, has a 3-frame jump squat. What that means is when you try to jump, your character will sort of crouch down for 3 frames before they end up actually in the air. So they're in the air by frame. Yes. So when you jump, like, technically there are, because it's so fast, you don't really see it, but your character kind of crouches down a little bit and they push themselves off the ground. So every character in the game, except for Kazuya, it takes them 3 frames to actually get into the air. Now, because of that, that means that any of your aerials, if you're using them from a grounded position, if I use my... Right, but what I mean to point out is that if my neutral air starts on frame 6, that's great, but that's only if I'm already in the air. So if I'm on the ground and my jump takes 3 frames to begin, that means that my neutral air will be frame 9, exactly. So that's just something that's good to know, and we'll get into why a little bit later. But as you can see, like, Zelda's hitboxes are pretty big when it comes to this, and this move is great because it says 50 total frames, which is really long, right? But here's the thing. Look down here. It says note, auto cancels on frame 1 to 3 and 38 onward, which what this means is that if you use this move and you land by frame 38 out of 50, if you land at 38 and onward, anywhere from, 38, 39, 40, all the way to 50, that means that the move completely cancels. So the move is over, but that means that you will not suffer any lag, right? You will automatically... Correct. You will automatically be able to move. So this says it has 12 frames of landing lag, and that is if you land before frame 38. If you land after frame 38, you have no lag. So, yes. So I want to pivot to this, because in this, you're going to see me use those 3 options a lot. You're going to see exceptions to it, which the exceptions to the fundamental rule of only using those 3 moves in neutral is based on many factors. It's based on your comfort level. It's based on the information you're getting from your opponent. It's based on, what if the situation calls for it, if you are trying to mix up. So, a lot of the reason for having those fundamental rules is so that way you know what to do when you are starting out, and then when you are getting more information as you play your opponent, you're like, hey, like, they constantly spot dodge, after they throw out a smash attack. So the next time you see them smash attack, even if you're in neutral, which again, neutral is just the state where 2 players are fishing for a hit, and you're both also at a distance where if you usually miss an attack, you're safe, right? You're both like keeping your spacing. So if someone, like, if you notice like they're throwing out an up smash a lot and they miss, that would be your opportunity to wait for the spot dodge and then like throw out that dash attack, right? Because the dash attack isn't what we want to use in neutral, but if you have an educated guess, then it calls for it. So I'm just going to sort of play this a little slowly. This match gets off to a little bit of a rocky start, but you'll see how I'm able to sort of clutch it back out. And if the commentary is too loud, just let me know. Okay, so you can see that a couple times I strayed from those rules. and we can look at the damage here. I tried to jump on him and throw out a dare, and he ended up parrying it and got a huge amount of damage off on me. You can also see that at the start of this, like I landed, I dashed back, I threw out an up tilt, and then like I could sense, because I was watching him, right? Like if you watch the Wario, he kind of came in, went back, came in, and so like that's sort of where like I guessed with the dash attack, because he was like sort of like predictively like coming in at me, dashing back, coming in at me, and then like I knew he was going to try to dash back, so I covered that. But we'll get into more of that later. So after I take like this damage here, neutral right here has been reset. We're both at a distance where both of us are able to throw out something and will most likely not get punished. The common mistake that Zelda players make in neutral is to charge the Phantom. I don't care what anybody says. People are going to argue with me on this. Phantom is not a neutral tool. Phantom is not something that you use in neutral, because that move, if we go back to our frame data here, let's go down to special attacks. Phantom right here, it is anywhere from 66. So this is not really accurate. So basically this move is going to be anywhere from 55 total frames all the way to like over 100. And the reason for that is that when Zelda releases the Phantom, if you release the Phantom early, like if you don't fully charge the Phantom and correct, it's a 39 frame animation. So if there's 60 frames in a second, you're spending over 2/3 of that second just pointing your finger.
Her least part of
it's 55 frames. The Phantom kick from start to finish is 55 total frames, which means it's barely under a second. Yeah. So if you start charging the Phantom and you release the kick comes out on frame 26. That's as soon as the kick comes out. These are the stages right here of the Phantom. So the kick comes out as soon as frame 26. So the cooldown would be the 26 with the 39. So basically that's going to be 55. So that's why, like, in this situation, I don't want to do that, because Wario can close the distance very quickly. He probably can't get to me in a second, but I don't want him to be up close in my face, because if you let someone get up close in your face and I'm over here and they're right here, like, technically I'm not in a good position. Like right now I'm in a fine position, right?
Even if you sent out the Phantom.
Technically, yes. Now, I will say at this distance, I would probably be fine because it's Wario. But let's say it's Mithra. Let's say it's Sonic. Right? They can just immediately get over to you. So it's going to be relative to where, neutral is going to be defined by a good question to ask yourself when you're playing against a character is, okay, who approaches who? Right? So like if you're fighting against Sonic and it's Zelda. Yeah, if you're fighting against Zelda, or if you're Zelda and you're fighting against Sonic, you ask yourself, okay, who approaches who? Zelda has to approach Sonic. Sonic is so fast. Generally, the faster character does not have to approach the slower character, because the slower character can't catch them. So that automatically puts you at a disadvantage. So if you know that like you're at a disadvantage in that type of situation, that means that you really have to be very careful using your committal options, because, I could throw out a dash attack and Sonic could immediately punish me for it, from the other side of the stage. So it depends on, several factors. It depends on the opponent, it depends on their skill, it depends on how fast they are, how fast the character they're piloting is, etc., etc. So when you're ready, I'll start this. Yeah, you're good. I just want to make sure you had time to write down what you were writing. But as we can... Okay, so as we can see here, what you're going to see is I'm going to start using my up tilt, down tilt, and my short hop nair. Mainly up tilt and short hop nair. Down tilt is more of like a... it's like a safe poke. Since it's very quick, it's something like I'll throw out and like I said, I'll like dash away. I usually don't like do like 2 of them in a row. But So right here, I'm just going to play and I want you to see. So I'm going to be using short hop nair to cross up. And what this means is in this game, you constantly want to be moving, because if you're in one position for too long, that gives your opponent the opportunity to sort of like close the gap and get close to you. And then you're like, oh shit, now I've got my back to the corner and my opponent is closer in on me. So you can see right there, that's why I was able to use Phantom right away, because right here, we both dash in and he jumps back. But because I'm doing a short hop nair, I catch his jump. It's very good at catching jumps. That's what the move is technically for. It's for interrupting someone's approach. So I do the nair, but the only reason I fast fall it here is because I hit him, right? Because I technically do want to get to the ground faster, even though it does auto cancel. I only want to auto cancel if it doesn't hit the opponent. So since I hit him, I am holding down to get to the ground faster. I will have 12 frames of landing lag, but it's going to be very comparable by the time I land anyway. So that is what allowed me, since I landed a hit, now I am in the state of advantage. Now I'm in my advantageous state. My opponent is in hit stun and I can act. So that's why I started charging Phantom. You can see that he immediately chose to jump out of his hit stun and came at me, which is why I did level 4. So we can watch that again. So the up tilt, the down tilt on occasion, and the short hop nair, they're your neutral openers. They're the moves that you can throw out at a distance that'll usually be safe, and if you land that move, it's going to lead to more opportunities for you. Granted, if you land any move, it's going to land for opportunities, but these are the two moves that we can use the most, because we have like a bunch of moves in our arsenal, but these two moves cover us in a lot of different situations. So they're a lot more situational, right? Like the up tilt can hit somebody up close in front of you because it's frame 7. It can hit someone above you. It can hit someone behind you. You know, and then Zelda's short hop nair, it's like, if I was in this position and I hit him, if I didn't hit him with this, like let's say he retreated and he went the other way, I could have auto canceled it. You know what I mean? So still saving up for some Japery. Glad to be subbed here. Thank you so much for the sub. How's it going, hun? Thanks for being here. But do you see what I'm showing, Dave? Yeah. So I just want to make sure you see that. So you can see, based on that just like one interaction, it all sort of like left from there. That's why it's so crucial in neutral to remain non-committal, because once I was able to, you know, get that short hop nair and then get that Phantom, it's set up for everything else. Which, you know, that stuff will come into play as you play more. But we can see here, I got the short hop nair, Phantom level 4, sent them to the platform. I used Inspire just to sort of cover that area. Now they jumped over it, and then he landed right in front of me, but I was able to immediately start my up tilt as soon as he landed. So the up tilt hit him, put him right on the platform, and then I could start to get a little bit more committal here, right? You'll also notice that I did a non-committal option. It's still a commitment, but like as non-committal as we can get, the short hop nair. And then after I did the non-committal option, I was able to use more committal options like the Phantom and Inspire. But I went back to that fundamental rule and threw out my non-committal option, which was the up tilt, right? So it's like having the ability to eventually understand, okay, like, all right, that's as committal as I can be right now, right? Like, just because I landed a hit doesn't mean I can start like throwing out stuff all like willy-nilly. Like, that's why I went back to up tilt, and then now I can take a little bit more committal options, because in this example, he's right above a platform. He's being forced into a tech situation. Either he techs the platform or he doesn't. He does, and I cover that with the dare, which combos into the up B. He's a heavyweight, and I didn't actually hit the sweet spot. The sweet spot is a circle around Zelda, which I'll show you right here. So we can see that Pharaoh's Wind, when Zelda reappears, this is running a little slow, I apologize. But when Zelda reappears here, we can see. Oh, hi, Utopia. Hey, how's it going? Okay, so this is loading a little strangely, but you can see, like, right here in the example, it's similar to this over here on the left. But when Zelda reappears, there's like a circle in the middle, and then there's a circle on the outside. So I hit him with the outside, which is the sour spot, which is why that didn't kill. Almost did, though. But anyway, so I hit him off the stage. I set up my Phantom, which is, again, the committal option. Setting up Phantom takes 66 total frames. It's barely over a second. That's important for you to know, because that kind of gives you an idea of, like, how much time the opponent has to close the gap if you're committed to doing the full charge Phantom. Full charge Phantom is like Zelda's goal. It's what she wants to set up most of the time, because what it does is it turns her approach from basically like a lackluster approach into a top tier approach, because you have something else to work with. Something else I would write down, and here's another reason why, you know, we want to stick to our basic fundamental rule of using up tilt, down tilt, short hop nair in neutral. Good reminder. Thank you, Harsnow. It's because Phantom is, do not try to use Phantom as a percentage tool. Most Zelda players will like charge the Phantom, and their goal is to hit them with the Phantom or to combo into the Phantom, right? That's not how you actually use the Phantom. You use the Phantom to cover an area, and then you watch how your opponent reacts to it. You always hyper focus on that. You don't want to focus on anything else, because if you do that enough, you'll start to realize the opportunities to actually hit them with the Phantom. But that's sort of like, you know, keep them guessing. It's not really actually, your goal is never to like really hit them with the Phantom. You know, there have been so many times where I've knocked my opponent off stage and I've charged a Phantom and I threw it, and then they grab the ledge, and now I don't have a trap to work with me while they're on the ledge. Whereas opposed to if I had just kept it and didn't get so greedy trying to hit them off stage when they grab the ledge anyway, I would have had a trap to work with and probably would have ended up getting a kill or sending them back off stage.
Got it.
So like right now I'm in disadvantage. Obviously that's not neutral, but we'll get into like what you should do when you're in disadvantage our next session. So like right there, here's another good example. So I land the nair, but look, you see the percentage I'm at? I don't want to just turn, because I'm at a like low percentage, I don't want to just turn around and charge the Phantom. Because like risk versus reward, right? Like what's the reward? Oh, well, I could set up a Phantom here and possibly kill him super early. It's not very likely. What's the risk? I'm at 82%. He could wait for the Phantom, dodge it, jump over it, whatever, and end up, you know, like end up killing me. So what I do here is I full hop, double jump, and I create all this space, right? I'm basically getting into what we call mid-range, which is Zelda's goal. Zelda's goal is to always stay in the mid-range, because that allows you to set up your Phantom comfortably. And if people, you know, don't approach you while you're setting up the Phantom, then you just take center stage, because, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but the main goal of this game is to actually hold center stage. You want center stage. This is called stage control. You want to fight for stage control because it's putting you in the best position. Harsnow says, look how Miss Katy returned to center so hot, literally. So it's a good rule of thumb for you in this fighting game to return to center basically as much as you can. And you can see here that I could have like ran off and tried to hit him after I got that nair, right? Like I could have like tried to jump and kick him. I could have like tried to dash attack. I could have like done anything to go at him, but I elected not to, because me going here is the best thing that I can do, because he's at 20%. I'm probably not going to kill him off of whatever I could have done. Putting myself in this position and getting my Phantom out is Zelda's game plan. I'm covering that platform. He had to jump over it. And I'm at a position where I'm in an advantageous position and he's not. So even though technically it might seem like we're in neutral, I'm sort of still in advantage because of the positioning, right? So advantage doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I landed a hit. It can mean like, oh, I'm in a good position. And this position is great for me right now, right? Because I have the ability to react better than he does based on the position. He's on a platform, so like the space in which he can run is limited. I'm not. I can run and dash and do whatever as I please. I'm fucking Bambi right now. I can prance wherever the hell I want to. So right here you can see that like I go for this, try to cover him, and he goes to center. So now we've switched places. Now, I want to point this out. So I went for my nair. I landed on the platform. It wasn't a short hop nair, but I was using my advantage to try to extend it, and I missed. Right here, I'm on the platform. Notice that I do not run off immediately and try to hit him. I dash back here, and then I run off. It's just to I'm slightly changing up my timing. Now, because I did that, what I'm doing is I'm creating my own sort of advantage. Now, I could have gotten stuffed here, but I didn't, right? That's what like timing mix-ups and stuff are for. So I run off and I do this committal option. Now we're in neutral. I have stage, but I missed. So after the dare, dash back, up tilt. So Zelda's goal is to basically play the damsel in distress. She's pretending that she's vulnerable. A lot of her moves are committal. So what you want to do is find opportunities to make yourself look like you're taking a commitment, and then you dash out at the last second, and then you hit them for trying to punish you, which is exactly what happened here. Even though I gave up stage, I tried to land the dare. I didn't. Dash up tilt. I'm going to show that one more time. So you can see that the stages of like advantage, disadvantage, neutral, like they all shift very, very quickly. And so it's just important to know like when you're in neutral, when you're in advantage, when you're in disadvantage. So like I'll just try to call that out real fast. So like I'm in disadvantage right here. Now I'm in advantage, in advantage, in advantage, disadvantage, neutral, advantage. So it's fast, but being able to spot it out will help you when you're playing. You're going to be able to see, oh, okay, I see. All right, I didn't think that I was, when you're watching your own replays, you're going to be like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I was technically in disadvantage. Oh, I could have done this here. I had advantage. Wait, I should have just reset neutral. This is another thing I'd like you to write down. This is a quote from MK Leo.
Down right now. That's really helpful.
Yeah. So this is a quote from MK Leo. It's something that I really, really like. I think it's a very, very good quote. But basically, he said that the player that opts to play neutral the most and the player that plays neutral the best will be the winner. Which can kind of sound like a duh, but what he's saying is that you can see in this situation right here, where I'm on the ledge, I get put on the ledge again. I get my hit. Now I could have fought here, but I'm opting to play neutral because I'm defaulting back to center. So like I said, you want to default back to center, but what I'm doing here is I'm opting to play neutral again. I'm opting to give up a potential hit and saying, you know what? I would rather play it safe as a defensive character, especially. I would rather play it safe, and I'd rather go back and I will look for another hit again. I would rather do that than actually trying to attack, because in that particular scenario, when I had him off stage and I was very close, you know, again, risk versus reward. Sure, I could land a hit, but the risk is far greater than the reward. So what I should default to do is default to reset neutral. What that means is like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to back off and I'm just going to go back to, you know, a safe space, and I'll proceed from there. The more that you do that, the more information you're going to get from your opponent, the longer you're going to last. I mean, how many times have you been playing against your opponent and they're recovering and you run off and try to hit them? And then what happens is you miss, they grab the ledge, you have to grab the ledge now. Now they're on stage and you're on the ledge. So now you went from having this great advantageous position, immediately switching it in a matter of seconds, to now you're in disadvantage. Now you're on the ledge having to get up against a Bowser. Like, it's not looking good for you. So that is like one of the common mistakes that just generally that players make, is that they don't see when they're, because they don't understand the stages of like neutral, advantage, disadvantage. And it's also a little egotistical because they're like, you know, oh, I can land it, I can get the hit, but they don't. They're giving up their advantage. It is. I mean, and I mean, we played Melee, so I know you understand. Edge guarding was a big thing in Melee. A lot of characters like Sheik, like Falco, like Captain Falcon, like Peach, Marth, they all go off stage and intercept because recovery is kind of trash in alt or in Melee. And then on top of that, you also have ledge hogging, you know, so you could hold the ledge and then they can't grab it. So in this game, that's not a thing anymore. Like, you can edge guard, but it's like not the main focus. The main focus of this game is like neutral and then ledge trapping. And Zelda is an excellent ledge trapper. You just have to know how to do it. But she's one of the best ledge trappers in the game. When someone's on the ledge and Zelda has the ability to charge a Phantom and finish it right before they grab the ledge, is the most ideal situation Zelda can be in this game. I don't care what anybody says. Like, that's right before they grab the ledge. If you have that Phantom finished and you're in the right position, it's going to be incredibly difficult for your opponent to get onto the stage. And we'll go over that, you know, like I said, in future sessions. So I'm going to try to finish this up here. So I'm not going to stop it as much, but I want you to try to pay attention to up tilt, to short hop nair, and to like, if you see me using any other move, it's usually because I'm in an advantageous state. If I'm not in an advantageous state and I use another move, watch how it plays out. Sometimes I get punished, sometimes it works out. So oh, that's totally something I can definitely help you with.
I have a hard time.
It's do you use GameCube controller?
I use a Pro.
That's even better. I can definitely help you with that because I actually made the switch myself. I was a GameCube controller person, and then I switched to Pro controller because displacing with the Pro controller is so much easier. It's so much easier.
Looks like you have first principle on like these operating
100%, 100%. And like, just because I have those principles, of course, doesn't mean I'm perfect, and it doesn't mean I don't make mistakes or stray from them. But like, being able to over time, you know, I was trying to mention this earlier, but I think I forgot in the middle of while I was talking. But obviously, there's something that we know as neuroplasticity, right? Like the ability for the brain to change the way it thinks over time. And a lot of us associate that with like, you know, mindset. Like, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're like, you know, gosh, you know, no, I'm not good for anything. And then like eventually over time, you're like, you know what, I am somebody. And like you start waking up and feeling good about yourself. Or, you know, if you try to quit smoking cigarettes over and over, eventually your brain is going to be like, okay, I've had enough. And then like the next time you try quitting, it's going to be a little bit better because of that. So Oh, thank you, Wally. Thank you so much for the follow. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. So anyway, so yes, you nailed it. Having these fundamental principles for ourselves will allow that neuroplasticity to happen, and then the more that you play and the more that you follow these rules, it's all encompassing, because if you watch your own gameplay, you will be able to point out when you didn't follow those rules. When you're playing, when you lose, in, like, let's say you play in a set and you lose the first game, you the more that you think about this and the more that you follow these principles, you'll be able to understand, okay, you know what, I shouldn't have done that. Like, even in the game, like, you'll, like, let's say you're at 100%, like right now I'm at 100%, and let's say like he runs up and I don't do anything, and like let's say I just throw out a dash attack, but he shields it and then he kills me. I'd have been like, well, I was not in I was not in a good position, right? I'm in disadvantage. I'm at 100% risk versus reward. What's the reward? Getting a dash attack at 0%? Oh, super overextended. Another good rule for you to write down, technically this is disadvantage, but I'll go ahead and cover it now, is when you're in disadvantage, you have not earned the right to hit your opponent back yet until you have reset neutral. That is very important to write down. So like, if I'm in disadvantage, if I'm on the ledge or I'm in disadvantage, my goal isn't to get up and then to fight them right there. My goal needs to be, I need to get back to neutral. I need to get back to center stage as safely as possible. And I also need to try to, like, if I can't get back to center, or if I can, regardless, I still need to find a way to reset neutral. I need the space to assess the situation. I don't want to just like run in guns blazing and just start fighting without thinking about those fundamental rules, like stage positioning. Where am I at? Right now on the screen, I am not in a good position to try to fight somebody. If I'm going to try to fight somebody, I should at least be here, because here, if I get hit, I have the best chance of living if I get knocked off on any of the sides. But like, if I'm right here and somebody hits me, I'm much more likely to die off the side if I'm here as opposed to here. So having the rule for yourself, like, if I'm in disadvantage, I have not earned the right to hit someone back yet. Someone told me that once, and it really changed things for me.
I can tell that's gonna.
Yeah. So do you see what I'm talking about? Like, I'm technically like I have a 3-stock, or I have a 2-stock lead here, but regardless, I'm still in disadvantage, and I'm not gonna like, I could have went to center, but like, I decided I didn't want to do that. So like, I'm in the corner. Now, I could try to like, do something. I could try to like run up and grab him, which would be a terrible idea because grab is super committal. But, I could try to run up and hit him, but like, again, risk versus reward. My back is to the corner and I'm at 102%. So like, it's just not good. As a matter of fact, that's sort of why I did that here. He knocked me off stage. And see right here, the reason he did that is because he thought I was gonna jump as soon as I got up. So watch and think after I get up from the ledge that I'm gonna jump. See, he covered that. He covered that jump. If I had jumped from the ledge or jumped after I gotten up, that back air would have hit me. But I know that, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stay right here. And right now he's.
Or was that just...
So it's deception. So I'm another thing is that technically, if you're holding down and someone hits you, it's called crouch canceling. I'm sure you remember that from Melee. In Melee, like. Oh, sure. Okay. Well, it's existed in pretty much every game. I don't think it existed in the first Smash Brothers, but so your ability to reduce the amount of knockback that you receive is through crouch. Oh. Yeah. So you have to be. Yeah. Well, so you have to be crouching before you get hit, not after. So that would be crouch canceling, because your crouch is like basically adding into the formula, and taking away some of the hit stun that and the distance that you would go, like, because you're crouching. It's just something that the game has in it. So yeah, so sometimes I'll do that. Another thing is that if you notice, like, you see how I'm like down here, so my hurt box is smaller. I'm harder to hit because I'm crouching. A lot of people don't think about crouching, and crouching is excellent. Crouching is something that's super good, especially for Zelda. Like, for example, if you're fighting against a Mario and Zelda's crouching, Mario can never hit Zelda with a short hop up air from the ground. It will never hit her because she's crouching. It won't hit her. Now, if she's standing and he's in shield and then he uses a up air out of shield, his little like backflip thing, it'll hit her. So crouching is something that's very effective in the Mario matchup, for example, because you don't have to worry about him ever having that as an option if you're always crouching. And when you down tilt, you're crouching too. You can hold down out of your down tilt to remain crouching after you finish the down tilt. So there's a lot that goes into it. But right now I'm doing this just because like I'm biding my time, and I'm also making myself a little harder to hit. And if I do get hit, I'll take less hits done and knockback. So I'm just like staying here. I'm not gonna run in. And so like you can see that like I was just crouching, I was just like whatever. So eventually he's getting complacent, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted him to eventually get frustrated because I'm not coming in, I'm just staying here, and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna hit you. And I shielded it, got the grab. Now, this is a little specific, but Zelda's down throw, it's like a 50-50. They can either DI in, which will send them straight up, or they can DI out, which will send them away. He DI'd in just because he probably thought that if he DI'd out, I could kick him and kill him. But usually people will DI in at the ledge. Like you have a, it's a 50-50. Yeah, technically it is a 50-50, but on a lot of players, like they would rather DI in than DI out because of the positioning that we're at. Right? So specifically because I'm in the corner, he DIs in. And so I read that and I get the kick anyway. So because he was trying to avoid me kicking him, he got kicked anyway. So even right here, I'm playing very safe. I'm not like trying to go in, and right there. Okay, so that's playing as safe as possible. I used Nehru's, probably shouldn't have, but you can see right here, like I'm just like biding my time. The up tilt was just sort of like to cover. It wasn't really like to call out. It was just to cover if he happened to run in. But you can see right here, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to go in. This is the only time that you've probably seen me roll. Like, yes. Rolling is something that a lot of players like opt to do. It's rolling is like not that good unless you know your opponent is going to attack, right? So I had to feel this out. You can see right here, like I've been in the corner for a second, right? So I'm getting a lot of information on how he's trying to operate with me in the corner. I just killed him for it, but I'm waiting. I thought maybe he might approach me right there, but he backed off. So like I'm getting a lot of information in this scenario. So right here, I finally felt that he was going to attack, but I only felt that because I could feel his frustration because, again, I'm going to play it again. He's trying to get a hit. So like that's when I finally got that roll. So right here, you can see that I do down tilt. And then what do I do afterwards? I get the fuck out. Because he tried to grab me afterwards. So that's how you kind of use down tilt. Because technically, neutral's been reset right here, even though technically we're both close up. Now what you're playing is something called footsies, which I'm sure you've heard of. Going to the corner when someone respawns because you can't contest iframes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so like I throw out the down tilt. Technically, this is punishable. He could have grabbed me, but he waited. And since he waited, because he didn't know what was coming next, that's what allowed me to get out. So it's also because I'm not like using it very often. It was a situation that like, it's very situational. Like it wasn't something that like had happened multiple times in this match. And eventually he was like, oh, okay, well, I know I can grab it now. He might know that now, but he didn't at that time. So that's what allowed me to sort of get out. So, just something to note. Yeah. So, what's really Oh, yeah. So what's really cool is Phantom does have that wind box working with us. So I used Nehru's here because if Nehru's hit him, it would probably launch him forward into the Phantom. Hi Wally, thanks for being here. Yeah, but I'm also using it just because I want to avoid his command grab because most characters can just shield in this position. Before I get into that, I do want to point out something here. So technically, neutral's been reset, but you can see he missed a grab, and so that's where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take that opportunity to start a Phantom because like I could hit him if he like comes in or doesn't jump right away. Hi Soar, thanks for being here, honey. So that's why like even though I'm in neutral, I'm using Phantom. I'm also up 2 stocks, so like the situation's a little different now, right? The risk. Precisely. Way less risk because it's like if I die, I still have another stock to work with. Now, I don't want to die, obviously, but like the only reason I started that Phantom is because he missed that grab. So like right here, he does his command grab, which if I had shielded, then he would have caught me. So yeah, the Phantom will push them if it's like in front of them, like at that. Let me like show you the positioning real quick. So like right here. So like because he hit the Phantom, he's in that lag, and then yeah, I just up tilted in place because I'm like, yeah, this is going to hit you. Now that was not that great of an up B, and that was a bad Phantom. So you see, this is where I'm talking about. I was in disadvantage. I'm in disadvantage. My goal should be resetting neutral. I should not hit my opponent back. I should not be doing that. But I started charging Phantom, and I'm in the corner. I'm at 120%. That's a free hit for him. Right, I tried to, but the well, yeah, no, exactly. Like I gave him breathing room. Yeah, 100%. So this is a way of like, a good rule is like letting your opponent create their own disadvantage. That's sort of what happened here. That's what happens with a lot of Zeldas. Like Zelda gets hit, and a lot of Zeldas when they first start out, they get knocked off stage. They charge Phantom before they get back to the stage. It's just kind of useless. There's really no reason to do it. Like you're like, oh well, it can cover me when I'm on the ledge. Sometimes that will work, yes, but like in this situation, he just jumped over it, and I got smacked and I died. So like that was not good.
He jumped over it and I just talking about.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly what happened. And it was only because I used it in a position where he had more time to react than I did. Like that's why like we want to use Phantom in advantage. An advantage can mean a lot of things, but usually advantage is going to translate to you have a frame advantage over your opponent. So I used Phantom a little bit ago and it worked because he did a grab, but he missed. And so I was able to start something while he was still finishing his grab animation. So because of that, I have a frame advantage and I have a distance for you to have to work up with. But in that situation, he hit me. So he has an advantage, and I'm starting Phantom when he's completely actionable. And I'm above him. So it's like the role has been reversed. So that's why Phantom is terrible in disadvantage, because you're literally a sitting duck. And so it's a little instinctual, and I wanted you to see that because like, all of us make mistakes. And that was a clear example because like, I thought that was the right decision to make, and it wasn't, and I learned very quickly that, I got to do something else.
I'm gonna need how to make platform.
Oh yeah,
Often
yeah.
when I
Oh, okay.
I have a whole lot of how to
Sure, yeah. So something we can look into is wave landing. Wave landing is something that I do a lot, um, just in order to like position myself. You know, right there, that was like a bad Phantom. He grabbed the ledge, and then I started charging the Phantom. We want to have the Phantom finished by the time they grab the ledge, so that's why he was able to get up, jump, and hit me. Now, I could have probably smacked him with level 4, but it's like, why even put yourself in the risk versus reward? And then he missed that, of course. Now, I'm going to get through this last match real quick. I'm not going to really say very much. We're just going to watch this second game. Because now it's like, okay, how does he adapt? I've got the information. Pay attention to neutral. Pay attention to short hop nair, or short hop nair, up tilt. And just kind of look for those. Yeah, I'm going to stop it here because he kind of he kind of gets demolished. But so I do short hop nair, right? And here's why you auto cancel it. See, I didn't fast fall, it auto cancels. So I'm able to immediately throw it up tilt just in case he tries to punish me. So like this in itself is kind of it's a good situation for Zelda because not only am I moving, I'm covering my movement. I'm possibly hitting them if they're in that space, but I'm also baiting them because like it looks like I'm open, but I'm not.
That auto cam so good intuitively thought you would fast fall.
Right, yeah, so
you're right.
Right, yeah, so if I fast fall, like if the thing is like yeah, so like if I fast fall, I'll have 12 frames of landing lag. Now, if I fast fall after frame 38, like if I fast fall on frame 38, that's fine, right? Because it would be 50 frames. But are you gonna know like what frame 38 is? Like it's a little difficult to think that way. So it's just better to let it auto cancel and just let it rip. Plus, the other thing is that if I'm not fast falling, I'm still moving, right? So I'm even though the move is over, I'm still moving. You can see that like the move's over here, but I'm still moving forward. If I had fast fall, I would not have gone as far forward and I would have more lag. So then you can see I throw out the up tilt and the up tilt whiffs. So what do? I go to short hop nair again and then I catch him. So and something I noticed in the first game was that players have habits. All players do. And something he likes to do after he gets nared is he likes to jump. So you can see that I call that out this game. Like, I fast fell here because I hit him. Like I told you, if I hit it, I will fast fall it. And what does he do after he gets hit? He jumps. That's why I got the up air. Because I knew he was going to jump. Because he did that the last game and I didn't punish. So this time I'm punishing it. Now he's getting hit by these up airs because he's just trying to hit me back. And yeah, I got a little cocky. I taunted him. Now I'm also crouching because I'm trying to be a bitch. Like that's another that's another aspect of the mental game that you were talking about is like this is the number 4 player in Indiana. I want to win. I'm playing Zelda. An arguably like people say low tier bottom 5 character, which is completely horseshit. It's not true at all. But people say that about her, and you're playing a top tier character. Yeah, I'm gonna rub it in your face that I just ended you because a part of it's the mental game. I'm proud of myself, and yeah, I'm gonna crouch and I'm gonna watch you die because if it affects you at all, then I'm winning. You can see, and look, I mean, I'm not trying to be too rude, but like, look at his face. You can see he shook his head and he's not happy, so it's fine. You can see I've done nairs on shield twice, so I'm realizing, okay, like I need to back off a little bit here. I'm using it a little too much because it's very unsafe. So that killed because that was bad DI. But the last time, if you remember that we were in the corner and I down threw him, he DI'd in, and I did down throw. So this time he probably thought I was gonna do down throw to try to kick him, so he DI'd out and he got back thrown, died. So that's sort of like a DI mix-up, if you will. That's another reason why it's really good to call out DI in, because if their back's at the ledge, they're probably expecting you to back throw them, because they would die from a back throw. So why wouldn't they increase their chances of living by holding in? So if they hold in, you can call that out with a kick, and honestly, easy enough. If they DI in, you get a free up air on the majority of the cast like 30%. You'll get a free up air because it's technically true. I won't say it's true in training mode, but it is true because a character can start their air dodge, which would be like frame 3 is when they're invincible. But like frame 1 and frame 2, they're still vulnerable before their air dodge begins, and that's why the up air will still connect, and it's still technically a true combo because they can't get out of it.
So, off topic from teleport camp, bottom on it.
Yeah.
I understand how.
Sure. So it's
at some point you think you.
Sure. So two framing is kind of, I will say it's a little difficult for Zelda. That's why, again, her whole thing is to ledge trap, because if you're ledge trapping, then you don't have to worry about two framing. You can technically two frame with a lot of different moves from Zelda, but the reason that I did that teleport cancel in the first place was, if you remember, I teleported into him and knocked him off stage, and his bike was on the stage. So I picked up his bike and I threw it at the ledge. When I teleport canceled and I teleported into the bike, it actually extended the active frames of my teleport because I hit it. So since I hit it, my hitbox is still active. Zelda's reappearance is
clever.
Thank you. Zelda's reappearance is only active for 2 frames, just like her forward tilt. It's it's either hit or miss. Either you hit it or you don't. But since I hit the bike, it actually allowed me to have like more time to hit him. It made the active frames longer. I don't know how much longer they were, but I knew that that was going to be something that could work, and it ended up working out. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is like right here. So like in this situation, we're technically in neutral. So I start a Phantom, but you can see he immediately fades back. So I just did Phantom Kick. Now Phantom Kick's only 55 frames, not 66. So even though, like, the reason that you do want to use Phantom Kick is, again, not necessarily to hit them because it's not a percentage tool, but it's to like make them think that I was going to full charge the Phantom, but I didn't. So I also do that out of a displacement because I'm able to hop backwards. You can see here, like, I'm able to hop backwards and then throw out this hitbox. So because Phantom Kick is farther from me, it's less of a risk. If you use Phantom Kick normally, it's going to be like right here, right in front of her. But because I displaced it, I'm shooting back as it's shooting forward. So now there's this distance between us. So you can see here that I did this just to stay on top of what they might do next. And then you can see he jumps in. And think about it. If I was still charging Phantom, you know what I mean? Like I would probably be hit here. But because I used Phantom Kick, I'm giving myself 12 frames to act sooner. And this is important for Zelda as a deceptive character. Because if Phantom is 66 frames for the full charge, and I do Phantom Kick, which is only 55 frames, that means I can take those 12 frames and do whatever I want. I could up tilt, because, you know, it comes out on frame 7. That's within 12 frames. I could jump. Jump only takes 3 frames. That's within 12 frames. You know, I could start Nehru's. I'm invincible on frame 4. That's within 12 frames. So there's a lot that you're sort of doing in that scenario, and we'll get more into that later. But it's definitely something I wanted to point out here. So I want you to see what I do after I do the committal option of the Phantom. So I'm going to go back. up tilt. So I did the short hop nair, did up tilt. So they work. What's nice about them is they work like interchangeably together. You can up tilt, then short hop nair, or you can short hop nair and someone chases you and then you up tilt. And what has he been doing? Remember what I tell you. What does he do after I nair him? He jumps.
No.
So, sorry. Oh, I do too. I do too. So the reason that I wanted to show you though that set is because I wanted you to have um sort of a way to visualize those neutral tools in action. So do you feel like you were able to see examples of how up tilt and short hop nair in neutral were good openers and they were able to create advantage, do more committal things afterwards?
Yeah, no, that was
Yes. And so like I said, oh, go ahead.
Up tilt like that. That was
Yeah, because it sort of gives you an idea of like, what you should be fishing for. Because it can be hard when you're playing against people to like really understand like what you should be doing. Now, of course, this is something that like you can see and you can immediately apply it. But it is going to take time for you to be able to really get as much out of it as you can. Because it's going to be new, it's going to be something different. It's going to take time to implement it, even if it's just what on the surface appears to be very simple. Um, so as you know, like I said, I know our session was only scheduled for 30 minutes, but I do appreciate you staying over and getting as much out of it as you can. Since you got a training, like a training plan with me, I want to make sure that your goals are met, and that you have enough, like that you receive enough, like, attention to detail. And, I just want to make sure that you have a good experience. I don't think 30 minutes is quick enough. I just put it at that because like technically I could explain it in 30 minutes, but I want to make sure that you're getting as much knowledge as I can give you. Um, oh, of course, of course. I want you to get as much bang for your buck as you possibly can. The other thing is, I want to say thank you for the time that you devoted to today. I know you could be doing anything else, but you should definitely pat yourself on the back because you've made a very, very good first step when it comes to trying to become the best that you can be. I do want to leave a little time open right now for any like additional questions that you might have. If you don't have any questions, that's fine. But if you do, now would definitely be the time to ask. We can go over the video. We can go over, whatever you would prefer. Okay.
actually. I do remember you saying you wanted me to post play
Yes.
data. I'm gonna how you wanted it labeled or
Oh,
how
sure.
I actually sent it.
Yes.
I've never actually.
Sure. So I'll message you in the thread. I would probably, because it's going to ask you to name it. I would probably name it something like this. And then like each one that you do after that, you could probably do like let's probably do like you could probably do like the name, the first replay, like by like numbering them like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you could do like based like that. So that way you could do like it's like your name abbreviated. It's like the what number replay it is in terms of like uploads of that day, and then the specific day, and then whatever you name it, um, make sure that you like write it down or that you send that to me so that way I know what to look up when I search for them. I'm doing it this way because this way I can just pull it up on my Switch That way you don't have to like spend all this time like converting it to a YouTube video and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because it's time consuming. So
how many videos focusing on in the video, like
so so I just want you to play. I just want you to play, and I just want you to do, you know, the best that you can do. And I think what that'll allow me to see is it'll allow me to see many different things. It'll allow me to see, you know, what you opt to do in neutral, um, how you might struggle in neutral, or what you do when you find, you know, an opening. When you do land a hit, what do you do afterwards? So I don't want, when you play, I don't want you thinking like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do this. Other than the fundamental rules, right? Like those, yes, you need to be thinking that way. But I don't want you thinking like, oh, I need to make sure that like I'm doing like a lot of short hop nair and a lot of up tilt. Like it because that's gonna like take your mind out of the game. We still need to see like kind of what you do like naturally or autopilot, if you will. And over time, that is something that we can really dive into and focus on. Because you got to learn like what to do first, and then as time goes on, you integrate it. Again, that's a part of the neuroplasticity. It's not something that you can do just like next day, right? Like it's not something that a lot of people can implement very quickly, because you know you're going to play some matches after this and you're still going to do the same things that you did before we even had a session today. Like, so I definitely, yes, that's normal. I definitely don't want you to go into playing on Elite expecting to like have like this sudden epiphany, and I'm sure that you don't, but like don't expect to implement this stuff immediately. Um, at least in like a successful manner. Like you might make a few changes and you might see some progress, and that's all that we're asking for. We have to take it a step at a time, and putting any expectations on ourselves is what dives back into what you originally mentioned, which is the mentality. So I don't want you to set yourself up for failure by potentially going online, playing, getting into Elite Smash, and then like the next day you play again and like you get out of Elite Smash. So we have to take it a day at a time, a step at a time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Yeah.
Oh, I have a side question, but it's not really.
Okay. Sure.
When I'm
Mhm.
streamed, I adult like a I doing.
Oh, okay. So, so the thing is that like technically that would be. So I'm not. I will say this. I'm not like when it comes to like streaming and stuff like that. Like I do have someone that has helped me set up a lot of my stuff. So you know, unfortunately, I don't think I would be able to diagnose your issue right away, because there could be, from what you're telling me, there could be many issues. Why that could be? It could be like it could be your processor not being fast enough. It could be like the RAM that you have allocated available. It could be the capture card itself. It could be the software you're using for the capture card. So so do you use Streamlabs desktop, or do you use OBS?
I use OBS.
Okay.
I have Battle
Okay.
that I use,
Okay.
and when I use the software, I I watch my gameplay through the OBS software.
Okay.
It's still
So
like
so
that, like
okay. So I will say this: don't use their stuff. Like you want the capture card, and then you want to use the capture card as a source within OBS. Number two, you say that you're like watching your gameplay. So like, are you using one screen?
I have, but like I have this software, so basically I'm basically using like uh not a display cap. I'm using on the software
Yeah,
to
no,
try to
that there you. I mean,
reset
that's
lag
so
possible,
yeah.
and then
So
I'm watching
mhm.
myself. Like I watch my software. I don't know less.
Okay, so yeah, so first of all, your capture card should have an in and an out. when it comes to like your input, what you're inputting into it, and your output. So you would plug an HDMI cable into your into the capture card in the input, and then that would plug into your switch. The output would plug into a separate television or a separate monitor. You want to output to a separate monitor, right? Because when the capture card's in the computer already, so that means that like it's going to pick up whatever is plugged into the input. But you have to reroute that and have the output plugged into like a second monitor. So that's how I do it. So for example, like right now, like if I were to turn on my switch, I would be turning and looking at my actual monitor, and I would be playing on that. And that way there is no lag or anything whatsoever. Because you're using Elgato software, that is what you're getting a lag from, and especially because you're running two very demanding things on your processor at the same time, or your CPU at the same time. You're running your OBS, and then you're also running your capture card, and then you're also having OBS like pick up your capture card. So you're like making your computer do a lot. So what you want to do is you want in your sources to select your capture card and just have that. You want to have it as a source. You don't want to have it as a window capture. You just want to have it as like a I think it's video capture or game capture. I think is what it's called, game capture. And it'll be like, it should show you like, oh, what kind of capture is this? Oh, a game capture would be like a capture card. So you select that, and then so like I just want to make sure. So the capture card that you have, right? On the back of it, it does have an input and an output, or is it like a USB that you have plugged in?
So are you switching? Like if you're having it run from the like that.
So I have two monitors. Yeah, I've got the monitor that's plugged into the computer, and that's what I view Streamlabs and everything on. I have a second monitor that is plugged in to the capture card. And then the switch is also plugged into that same capture card. So when I turn my switch on, like you'll be able to see this. Actually, hold on. Let me. I'll try to show you something real fast.
I apologize. I know.
No, you're okay. I don't. You're fine. I don't care. You're good. Yeah, I want to make sure. Okay, let me. No, of course, yeah, like that's not fun at all. So, okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. So you can see like right here, like you can see up there is like where my capture card is. It says no signal. So if I turn my switch on, the capture card immediately picks up because it's always looking for a signal from whatever's plugged into it. So right now, when I do that, my actual monitor comes on. So because it's plugged into the capture card, when the capture card detects something, it also turns my monitor on. That's how that works. So if you have any like specific questions, like I could probably try to go over it with you like a different time. Okay, sure. Because yeah, down here is, you're welcome. Down here's where your capture card is. I don't know if you can see this. I think you can, but so you would just, yeah, game capture. You just like right click properties, and so you can see that like if I click device, you can see that it says Elgato Game Capture HD, but I have Game Capture HD 60 Pro. So I'm using the actual capture card and not the Elgato Game Capture software. So, but anywho, cool. All right. Well, yeah, you're welcome. So if there's no additional questions for you, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the session. But I really appreciate your dedication to learning, and I really, I hope that you get a lot out of it. I'll make sure to send you the VOD after this, because again, like I said, it will be available for you to view, just to review and to go over. And like I said before, if you do want me to like try to like download it or upload it or something for you, I can. If you find a way to like download the video yourself, that's more than fine. Super. I am gonna check out your little link though, so don't go anywhere. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you have access to that video. And then something with Metafy is usually in a day or two, you're gonna receive on Metafy, you're gonna receive like a session summary from me, and it's gonna actually have like homework and stuff for you. So that is going to like have, it'll just be something that I want you to like look out for. And just check Metafy tomorrow sometime, or I can actually just send you a message on Discord once it's but it'll just be it'll be like a little summary of what we went over stuff. Okay.
Once time do you want before I?
Oh, sure. So I usually prefer to do sessions like in a weekly sense, because I think that that's best for you to have time to absorb the information of each session. Like if we were to do like sessions like, every other day, or like, twice a week or something like that, it would probably not be as effective in my personal opinion.
Or a bit more rather than.
Right. And I mean, like, I'm fine with you, wanting to do that, but since it's more of like a training plan, that is something that I want to do. Now, you're more than welcome to, like, if you would rather just like also have a separate session, where you just like do like an hourly thing, like if you wanted to do that like once a week as well, I wouldn't mind, because that would be a way for you to actually get in games rather than specific like explanations of stuff. But we can definitely talk about that. If you have any interest, just feel free to message me and let me know. Okay. Yeah, of course, Dave. Well, I hope that you enjoyed the session, and take it easy. And yeah, just go ahead and let me know once you've scheduled your next session for sometime next week. Preferably Monday, Wednesdays, or Saturdays are good for me. You can schedule whatever's in the availability, make no mistake. But those days usually work out best. Yep. Okay. All right, Dave. Well, I'll let you get back to the rest of your day. Thank you for your dedication to learning and being a student of the game. And take it easy, and I'll see you next week. I'm sure we will. Thank you. Bye. Ugh, I thought he'd never leave. No, I'm just kidding. I always say that after every session. Hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I am so stunning. I'm so stunning. Look at me. Look at me. I'm so beautiful. I'm gonna get the music started. I'm gonna grab another water, and then I will be right back. I'll probably play a little bit, and we'll just shoot the shit, and we'll just talk. I also have a tournament that I need to go do. We'll be streaming again later today at 6 p.m. Tournament starts at 6:30. So I'm gonna try to get in a little practice, hit the gym, have some lunch, some anonymous sex, and then and then we'll be good. So I'm kidding. So I'm gonna play some, not that. Ooh, I don't want to listen to that. All right, let me shuffle. Let me shuffle this. Hopefully that's not too loud, y'all. I feel like I just attended Katy's Sunday church service. She just preached and preached, girl. I'm sorry. I don't want you to be in charge. Oh Lord. Okay. Okay. How's the music? Is it good? Is it good? Oh my god, we also hit our daily sub goal, bitches! Yay! Ah! That's so cool! Thank you guys so much again for all the subs. I really appreciate it. Do, Har Snow, Filch, y'all are fucking bitches. I love y'all. Enjoy the music. I'll be right back, and I'll see you in a bit. Mwah. Don't mind me. Anyway, let's fucking play this game, right? Like, let's just fucking do it. Let's just fucking have some fun and sit on this. Anyway. Ugh, Mario, nasty, disgusting, federal prison. We hate it. We absolutely hate it. It's disgusting. Alright, anywho. Alright. Do I want to play on Elite Smash? Not really. Am I going to? I guess. My instinct was like, no. How is everybody doing? How are you, y'all? I haven't gotten to actually like chat with you and stuff yet. What is up? What is the 411? I've actually been working very, very hard. Wait, not you fucking clipping me. Oh my god. Pars, what the fuck? I'm fucking Bambi right now, bitch. I can prance wherever I want to. Oh my god. What does this even mean? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm living life. Any majors lined up soon? No, unfortunately not. I still want to go to Riptide. I really want to go to Riptide. I would love to go to Riptide. But I just have not. It still hasn't worked out for me yet. I'm still trying to get like students and stuff going with Metafy. And then I think that I'll probably be ready to like what I've been trying to do was instead of like panicking about like trying to find a job, which I did for a while, what I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to get to a point where I have like a consistent amount of like students and I have a consistent amount of like creative work and stuff. And then I have days allocated for that. So that way, like on the other days that I'm not working, like I could actually, like, or not doing like sessions and stuff, that I could actually go back to work. I just know it takes time to like get this stuff set up and going. So my fear is like if I go back to a full-time job immediately, then I won't have time for this stuff. To like, you know, just like get it all set up and stuff. Because it takes a while to like, you know, grow an audience. It takes a while to really get things going. All right. All right, it's Popo. All right, Popo. All right, what's up? Okay. Dash attack again. Okay. Okay. Go off, King. Oh wow, that barely hit me. A lot of dash attack. This kid's desperate. Damn, okay. Is that safe on shield? What? Is his down special safe on shield? This dude is aggressive as fuck. That was unfortunate. He waited. Smart. Unfortunate. I threw out a terrible, terrible up smash there. Pretty sure down B is safe or near safe, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize that, like, it's actually, like, something he can use and follow up with. Like, I guess I would assume because of what it does that it's negative. Well, I know now. Yeah, the up smash was not that good. Because he's definitely cautious, but he is running on with dash attack a lot. I didn't use my dash attack very much, but I think I just need to, like, focus more on, like, just, like, doing my grabs and stuff. Girl, come on, like, what the fuck? I also wasn't doing, like, retreating fair very often. I called that out. Okay, I think I'm better off now. Back off, buddy. Ah! I went out because I thought I might be able to catch him. This dude loves dash attack. Yeah. Hey, Miss Katy, make sure you check out my link when you get a chance. Alright, I'm sorry, Super. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Alright, let me check. Oh, you beat Black Twins. That's fucking awesome. Wow. Who did you use? Congratulations. That's a really good accomplishment. Like, really good. That was, I'm seriously, like, very proud of you. Toon Link versus Pichu? Okay, yeah. I feel like that would still be kind of hard. Alright, I feel like this is going to be difficult. Okay. He's recovering high a lot. Good spot dodge. Okay, goodbye. No, I work full time, so I can't make it unless... Oh, wait. I was like, what? This seems like a Zelda matchup? It is. I definitely think that it is. But... C'est la vie. Like, if I can do it with Sephiroth, that makes me feel really good. And I feel like he can. Seems like Nair just gets the... It just kills... I feel like his Nair just kills them. I think it does enough damage to kill the... The little shits. What are they called? The Pikmin. What are they called? Oh, only the game's fucking name. Jesus. He also fell directly into me and losers. Oh, were you guys at the same event? Wi-Fi, yay.
3, 2, 1.
I relate. I definitely relate. Okay. Oh, Lord. Get out of here. is this shit, girl? Yeah, I'm dead. Did I just hit him before he started his EKG? Deflected, I don't give a fuck. Am I dead? Wow. Totally outplayed. I don't know what to say. I was totally outplayed. Oh, wow. Oh, come on, dude. Died from jab. Cool. Damn it. Should have shortened it. What a menace. So sad. My one gripe with this game is this fucking character. This character in Min Min. Hit somebody twice, they die. Just so sad. Like, it's funny to me because I think people thought they had a lot to complain about when the game first came out. And we had, like, characters like Roy that were, like, super oppressive, and characters like Rob. And Sakurai was like, oh, you guys, you think those are a problem? Girl. Let me show you what's up. Yeah, and Steve. The odds.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay. What the fuck? Oh my god, I'm getting so fucking annoyed. This Zelda's kinda a little sus. Wow. Bitch, fucking fuck off. Wow. I'm getting really annoyed. So fucking annoyed, man. It's on me, but it's just so fucking annoying playing somebody that plays like that. It's just so annoying. It's like, I know how I play Zelda, I guess I just forget how, like, other people play Zelda. Because I don't run into Zelda very often on Elite, and when I do, girl, it's like I have to play a completely different way.
3, 2, 1, go!
Out of here. Like that, like, girl, it's the first thing you fucking do. Like, what are these F smashes? What are you doing? Come on. God. Right. This bitch is fucking swinging. Right, okay. When I do it, he falls out of my F smash. Oh my god. This does the same fucking thing every time. She's not mixing up anything. God damn, dude. Jesus Christ. When I was at my local, I ended up losing to a wolf that does that shit. So, like, they do this shit. And I'm just... It's just so frustrating. Love when people grab me out of hit stun. What is... The fuck, dude? I feel like there's no lag on any move in Ultimate. I think that's kind of like how the design for Ultimate came about. is that they wanted it to be like very easily accessible, and they wanted to like lower the skill gap. So like that's kind of why I feel like the target audience was like, honestly, was like Wi-Fi, because you were gonna have that delay. So it's like if you throw out moves that are like pretty safe or like pretty lagless, when you add Wi-Fi into the mix, like it's gonna add that anyway. I feel like it feels like that player thinks Martha's viable because of Slingshot. Oh yeah, they were doing that a lot. Another Kazuya.
3, 2, 1, go!
Girl. Okay. He was fucking pissed. Slingshot doesn't change the fact that Martha's at best bottom 10 and realistically bottom 5. I don't know. I mean, I think all characters in this game are pretty good. That went well, though. Yeah, I guess I just don't think there's a point in ranking characters like that. That's why I've never put out a tier list. Okay, now it's lagging super hard. Connection was fine. You need help with your... Okay, I think this dude's literally lag switching me. Because it was fine. Maybe not. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Ozzy is so heavy. Very weird lag. Okay. Now there's no lag. Anyways. I still think Dins is one of the worst support bees in the game. Girl! You're firing off. You're like, Martha's bottom 5. Din's fire is terrible. Like, girl, what else do you not like about this game? Oh my lord.
Elite Smash! Sephiroth!
Well, Fox is abysmal. Oh my god, Kissing, you're so fucking funny. Easily bottom 1. Easily terrible. Yes, that's happening. Another dog. What is what the fuck? What the hell?
1, go!
Lot of shield. There's the dash tag. Almost caught him. How? Okay, I hope that was worth it. Back air central. Well. I'm air dodge. Cool. He used it once, I didn't expect him to use it again. He's using his up B so early. Oh. Ugh. Have you tested lingering down smash for 2 frames? But what? Is that for us? I don't think I have tested that. only reason that would confuse me is like down smash is only active for it's only active for 3 frames, and then if it doesn't hit the ground, it's only active for 2 frames. Oops. Wow, that hit me from so far away. Are you kidding? When in doubt, up be it out. Yeah, it definitely doesn't linger. That was a good shield break, though. It was like at the perfect time. I love when that works out. Trying to use like back hit up smash more. Rip. Yeah, I gotta get to the gym here soon. Take it easy. Thanks for being here.
2, 1, go!
Oh my god, girl. Clever, I guess. God, such an annoying character, dude. What the fuck? Oh, brother.
Mission accomplished. Get the 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh, stupid, dude. He's 152%, still not dead. Oh, hi. Get where it was? Dude, fuck off, man. So annoying.
I'm done here.
Not gonna subject myself to that stupid shit.
Elite Smash!
I think this is the last one I'm gonna play until the tourney tonight. A lot of randomness from this guy's kit. I think that's a sign that I have to go. God. Thank you guys for coming out. I gotta go work out. I didn't get a chance to work out this morning. Like, so important for my mental health. So I gotta go because it keeps me in a good mood. When I play Elite, it's really hard for me to I think regulate my emotions because I already have issues with that. So I'm gonna go work out. I'm gonna have some lunch, get those things taken care of, and I will be back on at 6 p.m. So I'll see you guys then. Bye. Where's the off button? Bye.